Welcome to Fortune Forecast. In this video, we will continue through the book titled The Shortcut, Regeneration Through Fasting by Julia Seton, published in 1929 by the Occult Publishing Company. It is in the public domain. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I am Daisy, your hostess, and to our Fortune community, welcome back. If this is the first time you've found my channel and this book, please do take a minute and jump over to my book playlist so that you can grab chapter 1. If you're all ready, let's go ahead and move on to chapter 8, titled The Psychology of the Breath. The life of the body is the blood, and the life of the blood is the breath. It is the breath of the Almighty which gives us life. There are many who seek to be one with all higher laws and who at the same time fail to connect with the first important law, conscious breathing. We all breathe involuntarily as well as voluntarily. If it depended on our own consciousness to establish the rhythm of normal breathing, we would pass out very quickly. When we see the flagrant violations of nature's law of breath, we cannot help wondering at the long-suffering endurance of the defrauded body and the marvelous compensation nature laboriously makes. We do not sin away our day of grace all at once. Disease of body, mind, and soul is not a thing of a moment's birth, but is the inevitable reaction of a long violation of the natural adjustments of the true being. The overloaded vital centers on all planes stagger on under the increasing strain thrown on them through ignorance and actual spiritual stagnation. It has taken centuries to know that the direct road to excretion and nutrition is through the physical breath. It is a new light on the secrets of the self to find that there are two avenues of sustenance by which the race man feeds himself, one through food and the other through breathing. Until man knows how to awaken the nutrition centers with his breath and make the breath call the stimulus to which his cells respond with their immediate release of vital energy, he must take the old man's method and waken them through food particles brought to their nuclei from food passed into his stomach. With normal lungs, we breathe naturally a certain number of breaths a moment, with definite inspiratory and expiratory rhythm. This air, coming from without, is laden with the new substance which is to be taken into the blood current through the exchange made in the blood vessels of the lungs. The lungs release, in expiration, all the finer waste products of the body. They pass out in the form of carbon dioxide gas and are replaced by oxygen in the inspiratory act. Inhalation and expiration are the tidal waves of the physical body, and the tide rises, falls, and rises just as regularly as the tide of the sea in its long rhythmic roll. When we shorten the beat between, or when our expiration and inspiration halt the normal pulse beat of our body, we gather debris so dense that after a while we have no space for incoming breath and no strength to empty our already overcharged physical spaces. The blood is the carrier of life to the physical body and its breath, not food, that keeps the blood flowing in our veins. It is breath, not food, that purifies the bloodstreams and keeps new, fresh, red, oxygenated blood going the rounds of the human tide. The rise and fall of the body forms the suction power which sends it onward laden with its life-giving force. There's always a certain amount of residual air in the lungs which keeps them inflated and gives the individual a chance to call for more breath in emergencies. Also a chance to let out more breath if the need is great. The residual breath is often a source of disease and nearly always takes a part in the inharmony of the body. There are many who never really change the residual air in their lungs. This air remains like a stagnant pool over which the fresh air only passes in ineffectual ripples while it creams over with the fetid, unexpelled carbon dioxide gas. It becomes so completely saturated with gas that it is sometimes more gas than air, and then we have the fetid breath, the coated tongue, the yellow biliousness, the taste in the mouth, and all the things which have, in the past, been laid at the door of the intestinal tract, but which really have their origin in the lungs. The glutton, with his distended stomach full of food, does not take a normal breath. He cannot. The drunkard cannot breathe enough for elimination, while the sick, puny invalid, to whom every effort is painful, turns warily away from the physical effort which enforced breathing entails. There are not 10 persons out of 12 whom one can command to breathe the true vibratory breath, who can do it for 10 minutes without giddiness, nausea, or even a complete fainting collapse. This residual air is, in our new understanding, the seat of all conquest and the source of all limitation. It must be emptied thoroughly if it has lost the normal law of exchange. There is no use trying to breathe on an already overinflated lung space. It must be emptied consciously to the very last bit of breath which can be expelled. Then inhalation will be easy and will bring results. There are many persons who breathe and breathe but do not get results in their flesh, simply because the normal exchange is not made with the pulmonary vessels. The cells in the passing bloodstream in the lungs are so saturated with the narcotic of the carbon gas that they do not release in time to catch the oxygen as it enters. This is why long, deep respirations, holding the inspired breath, imperative in most cases. The new oxygenated breath, held long enough, will force the sluggish cells to release, and with the next exhalation, the gas in the blood. 25% more oxygen in the blood current will cure a headache, set indigestion at rest, prevent colds or weariness, and give new inspiration and feeling to mind and body. The union of conscious breathing and fasting makes the very quickest exchange possible. When one fasts, his respirations quicken naturally because the muscles becoming weak demand more subjective force, and anything that calls for more energy in the blood will quicken the breath, and through this, the flow of the blood. Through increased circulation, there comes elimination, and through elimination, there comes release of all congested parts. Then, from this, arises new nutrition, power, and health. With the new elixir of oxygenated air flowing into the blood as it passes through the ductless glands and the minute occult centers of the brain and the spinal cord, all the very fine activity of the body is re-established. The kinetic fluid of the body is released and new vital life force immerses every cell of every tissue. Cosmic breath is inexhaustible. It is always waiting to pour into our bloodstream. The ignorant multitude simply passes by all these gifts. We forget that our nostrils are open for the breath of life. To breathe is to give the body a chance for more life. Life that is full of exhilaration and strength. End of chapter 8. Stay right here. The next 2 chapters are pretty brief and will be included in this video, chapter 9 and 10. And let's keep in mind, Dr. Julia Seton was a doctor. And if you are thinking of trying any of these fasting techniques, please do consult with your doctor. All right, on to chapter 9. Special instructions for fasting. When we are fasting, we throw all our physical machinery out of normal action. We must therefore give it more attention than we would otherwise. Assimilation, nutrition, digestion, elimination, all struggle under an abnormal condition. For as soon as we cease eating, we lose the stimulation which food gives the system and by which it takes care of these things. Our physical food cells die by the thousands and must be eliminated quickly, or the bloodstream will become filled with decaying substance which carries with it the touch of pediomain poisoning. There is no poison more deadly than pediomain, and unless we throw out the waste of our own flesh, we soon become saturated with it. A systemic cathartic on the day we do not eat is imperative. There is no use saying, "Oh, I don't need it." Yes, you do. And a local enema will not do the work. This will only unload the lower bowel, and the need of the system is for the cleansing of the bloodstream, as well as the intestinal tract. There are plenty of cathartics which will do the work quietly, without disturbing effects. While fasting, the elimination through the pores of the skin is also most important, and hence good body massage and Turkish baths. Swimming, electrical baths are also good as they stimulate the molecular activity of the whole system. Body massage loosens the muscles and helps in breaking up old adhesions and errors of physical angles. A muscle which is too long will shorten when released, and a too short muscle can be stretched to its full length. Hence, the change in the shoulder muscles, round shoulders can be completely cured and flat chest filled in. Double chins can be obliterated, big, full, and sagging abdominal muscles shortened, and the body pulled into its normal shape. End of chapter 9. All right, let's move on to our next chapter, chapter 10. Exercises. Breath as force, muscle tensing with fasting. When we begin to fast, our first attention is to our flesh structure. We must tear down our old house of worn-out substances and gather new material for our new construction work. The body is always reconstructing itself, but it is too slow a process to fit the whirlwind consciousness of the new Illuminatis. St. Paul said, "I die daily," and this is true, but this death is in the form of a gradual change of which the individual is more or less unconscious. But with this new death of the flesh through fasting, the struggling self-consciousness must be helped out of its place by quick methods, and these methods are breathing and muscle tensing. Idle tissue atrophies. A breathless, airless bloodstream putrefies and decays, while both together form a morgue for the half-dead ego man within the pulseless body. As soon as a cell has outlived its usefulness, it should be cast out. As soon as air is thoroughly deoxygenized, it should be exhaled from the body. There is no place in the true economy of normal flesh for waste material. It is the retained refuse in the form of urea and carbon dioxide gas that prematurely ages the flesh, dulls the mind, and causes the whole being to mature too rapidly. There is no doubt but that at the root of all old age of the flesh there are seeds of carbon products, while fresh air, perfect breath control, exercise, a limited amount of pure food, and muscle education is the open secret of rejuvenation. Air and fire, or breath, and vibration, which form the fuel of the flesh, are the most potent forces of the Illuminatus. The conscious breath passed over the lips in a rhythmical breathing becomes like a bellows, igniting the dry cells waiting for the spark of higher energy. This increased vibration of the cell body and circulation starts a violent conflagration in the body and burns out, like dead leaves, the lingering waste products. This conscious control of the breath, with fasting and muscle tensing, were the mysteries of the temples of Lemuria and Atlantis over 30,000 years ago, and those who knew the law continued their lives thousands of years in youthful, free, healthy bodies. Greece caught something of this mystery many thousand years later as it was repeopled with the incarnate egos of ancient civilizations, and it became a world of artistic wonder. Under the new method of exercise, we conserve all our energies, yet have results the old methods never gave us. The new method is not alone the normal muscle function, but an almost abnormal action brought about through tension and release. A muscle used and released will keep normal. An unused muscle atrophies, and an overused muscle hypertrophies. There is a normal use and disease which must be maintained of a weak, dying flesh body results. In the life of our modern civilization, the ordinary individual does not use more than 2/3 of his muscular system, nor does he use 1/3 of his lung space. A few important muscles are made to do all the work. The rest lie dormant or, at the best, try to urge themselves upon the attention through lameness, weakness, or stiffness. Our flesh body is our personality, and our personality is our presentation card, and by it the world reads the story of our death or our abundant life. Not many people are really proud of their personality. We outgrow the states of mind that build it, and when we have outgrown anything, nothing connected with it is as beautiful as our new desire. The old world never knew that we could change our personality just as fast as we can change our desires, and that when we have outgrown a situation or an idea, we can take off the old face and form which fitted them and grow new ones just as easily as a lobster grows a new claw. With fasting, breathing, thinking, tensing, we take off the old food body, which has in it the lines of our past thinking and acting, and with our new wisdom, born from this higher revelation, we get out of nature's way and let her forces order for us a new outfitting, and this may be of any style or texture we decide. We are the highest expression of intelligence on this planet. It is for us to command. All the elemental minds of nature must take our orders. They cannot choose but obey. End of chapter 10. All right. Hey, before we move on to the next chapter, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment. Let's head over now to the next video where we will have chapter 11 and 12.